Today on RCAM, we are going to discuss a single mom who recorded herself crying while she's baking her own cake. There's more to that story, and we'll get into it. We're also going to be talking about a girl who appears demon possessed. Physically, she looks like she's possessed by a demon. And we are also going to be discussing a heartbreaking case that you'll see in one of those criminal court shows. So we'll get to all that and more today on RCAM. All right, welcome to RCAM. I'm your host Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. Sorry for a little bit of delay. We were having some technical hiccups, but it seems like everything is in working order now. So if you like this content, please like, subscribe, follow me, and comment. I'd love to hear from you guys and know your thoughts. So let's get into this today. So for those of you who spend any amount of time on Twitter, and social media in general, you've probably seen this video going around. But if you haven't, then I will I will show it to you. So there is this trend of crying women, and it tends to happen quite often. I see a new video almost every week of some woman recording herself crying, and my question is, why do we do this? Can we stop for a minute and just take time to recognize how bizarre it is to record yourself crying? I just don't understand why people do this. Almost any time you record yourself, you're going out of your way to show that you are being disingenuous. So let's play this clip and we'll talk about it. So she spends an entire, 36 or 30 seconds recording herself crying. And she recorded this content with the express goal of making herself cry for it. And I think that's very weird. Honestly, I do. It'd be one thing if you were recording, you were live, you're talking about a story, and then suddenly you get emotional, you start crying. That's forgivable. I understand that. But to make content where you're going to cry during it, it just seems narcissistic and disingenuous. So right out the gate, I'm already writing this girl off as being disingenuous because there's no reason to do that. And she had the dramatic music in the background. You feel sorry for her. She goes out of her way to state that, she's a single mom and she's making her own birthday cake on her birthday so that her babies can feel happy they are singing to you. Which I get. I get you want your kids to be happy. I mean, the only reason I'm okay with even celebrating my own birthday is because I know it's important to my children. It's not really that important to me, but I know it's important to them. So anyway, she is, we're supposed to feel bad for her, that she has to bake her own cake as a single mom. And evidently it worked because there are tons of people that have been sympathetic toward her. But I was not one of them. Immediately, I was suspicious because, she uploads this video with the dramatic music and her crying. And she's already setting herself up to draw rightful skepticism. But then something happened. Her ex-husband responds. So we're going to play that video. Because this is a whole saga now. All right.
So I've been sent this video a lot over the last few days, people asking my thoughts and my comments on it, and before anyone says, oh, you don't know her situation, or, you know, you don't know what she's going through, well, I do, because I lived it. I'm her ex-husband, and right now I have full custody of our kids. This is our parent agreement. As you can see, I have all weekdays and weekends, time sharing with the kids, all at holiday academic breaks. And for her to get any rights back to the kids, these are the things that she needs to do. And yes, child support, she owes that. It's up to over $21,000. So she's a mother and doesn't pay child support. She was then arrested for check fraud, and during that hearing, it turned out that it was found that she stole almost $1 million from another guy. And also, she faked cancer in the past. These are scans that she would send and post on her page before. So, you know, to sum it up, you know, this person, for people that follow her, are giving her praise and telling her how strong and how, you know, amazing she's doing. Well, she's really not a full-time mom. She barely has her kids. She goes out all the time. And she doesn't even have a job even. So she just really not someone that other single moms should really be looking towards as for inspiration or anything like that. There are a lot of, you know, hardworking single moms out there, and a lot of respect to them. All I just want to say is she just isn't one of them. So hopefully everyone can see this video and know, you know, who she really is. Peace.
All right. So now we have his perspective. So let me just stress to you guys how difficult it is for a mother to not get full custody of the kids. So that's already like a red flag against her, that she doesn't have the right to her kids. And then on top of that, you know, she was clearly arrested. You know, I believe him when he says it was check fraud, and she defrauded somebody out of over $1 million. That seems pretty significant. Oh, and she also faked cancer. So she kind of seems like there's this pattern of toxic behavior and her using social media in nefarious ways. And it seems like this man just finally had enough of it and responded and gave his statement, which I can imagine is quite frustrating, especially too, considering that she owes over $21,000 in child support. You know, I can't tell you how awful you have to be to lose custody of your kids. You know, and it's again, it's not that often we see fathers get full custody. So that alone to me is an indicator that this man is telling the truth. And he goes on to share that, she goes out all the time. And we'll get into this, actually, because she does issue a response. And I want to cover her response. And then he responds back. So, like, there's a back and forth. Oh, this person said she deleted her TikTok. You know, so in that post, she didn't delete her TikTok, but she did delete a lot of the TikToks. So that original one isn't there of her crying anymore. And she made several responding. So this is the response I'm about to show you. It's like 9 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. And this is, I think, one of her most recent ones. So we're going to play just a couple clips from this one.
Like, whatever you're saying about me on the internet, but there are other women that have filed restraining orders against him. And if anyone took the time to go look him up as well, that's what you would see. Instead, you see everything you've looked me up, which is essentially coming from one man who is out to destroy my life. That is in the nature of being a Scientologist. That is what they do. And if you know anything about them, you would know that.
So, right out the gate, here she's saying that he has a history of abuse in some sort of way. But notice that she doesn't bring any receipts. Odd. And then she makes a claim that he's a Scientologist.
But what is going on is not right. Me getting death threats when I stay home with my kids every day is not right. because a man that I left will always try to destroy my life. Forever.
So again, trying to garner more sympathy, and he does issue a response, and we're just going to cover that, and then we'll talk a little bit more. All right, here's his response.
On here real quick and clear up a few things that has been obviously a very recurring theme on the page. Number one, I'm not a Scientologist. Don't even know how that came about, other than the website, but I didn't create the website either. So both of those things, Scientology, never been one. The website, I did not create. So those two things, nothing to do with me. Last thing is the name, Inventing Elizabeth. It is about a show on Netflix, Inventing Anna. If you haven't seen that show, I highly recommend going to watch it before watching more of my videos or commenting on my stuff. That show is about a woman who was a con artist and a scammer. So my name is a reference to that show. Again, I'm out of town, so I'm not gonna post much more until I get back. And then I'll be showing a lot more evidence, things like that, because I'm not gonna post hearsay things or show you text messages. Yeah, I could show you a bunch of text messages over the years and things like that, but at this point where this is at with this level of the story, if you will, it just needs to be straight facts from here on out, and that's all you will be getting. So stay tuned. Peace.
All right, so that's his perspective from what happened, and they have this back and forth. And in one of her final videos, she goes on to say that she doesn't wish him any ill will, and that he makes a post, which I'll show you guys in a second, where he doesn't, he wants to stop talking about this. But the thing that's jarring to me is how many people immediately took this woman's side, even after the husband shared his perspective with receipts. It's not like he's the one that started this. No, she has a history of being chronically online, her history of being a con artist, faking cancer, defrauding people out of millions of dollars, and getting arrested for it, and losing custody of her children. So you see that there's a trend here, and I'm going to show you his final statement, but what I want to read actually, or pay attention to, is the comments to this post, okay? All right, he says, "It's clear that others do not want to listen to the truth or use facts and logic to form their opinions. My ex-wife has irreparably damaged many people's lives, including mine, well before going viral. I have tried to use the justice system in the past to put a stop to her destructive behavior. But as many people in domestic fraud situations have probably experienced, you'll be laughed out of the room. This led me to social media, which I attempted to use as a tool to hopefully prevent the next person from getting deceived and ultimately defrauded by his ex-wife. Taking into account the inflammatory and defaming nature of her latest untruths told about me, for the safety of myself, our children, I will not be engaging with my ex online any longer. One day I will tell my story, but today is not that day. I will ask that you please respect my privacy and remember that that as the sole financial provider and safekeeper of my ex-wife's children, any action taken against me will directly impact their well-being." Yeah. So it sounds like they're agreeing. Both of them have agreed to stop. So she had made a video basically saying, calling people off her husband, telling them not to attack his career, telling them to stay away from him. But look at the comments on this, all right? "We love you, Elizabeth. We love you, Elizabeth. We love you, Elizabeth." They're criticizing that he said my ex-wife's children. I think that's actually a valid criticism. They think he's threatening those babies. I'm not getting that. Why does that sound like a threat? That last sentence speaks. This didn't go as well as he thought. Praying for Elizabeth and her babies. Team Elizabeth. If this isn't a red flag, I don't know what is. Prayer for anyone that is or has been Elizabeth. We love Elizabeth. Praying for Elizabeth. That is the line for me. My ex always said he would tell his story too. 4 years, and we are still waiting. Here we go. Bear every single time. I don't like using that word simp, but man, this is simping. This is simping. This right here, this simpery is unreal. That they're just elevating and believing this woman over the man who actually brought receipts. Do you want to know the difference? Do you want to know what the difference is? She cried. She played the dramatic music. She pulled on people's heartstrings. She's also pretty, by the way. And they bought it hook, line, and sinker. Forget the person that she defrauded, and we know she was arrested. We saw the mugshot. Forget the fact that she pretended she had cancer. Why are people ignoring that? She pretended she had cancer. What? And they're sympathetic toward her? She lost custody of her children. Listen, I've seen some awful women still get custody of their children. And by every right, they should have lost custody. So for him to have custody, it's got to tell you something. It's got to tell you that there's definitely more to this than she's letting on, and that we should just not automatically assume she's the victim just because she's crying, just because she plays dramatic music in the background. That's insane to me. Insane. But you have these people, man, just taking her side over and over again and trying to see. I mean, it's like overwhelming. I don't think I'm seeing any person come to this guy's defense. This could very possibly be the TikTok algorithm just showing one side of it, because they do that. But man, this is nuts. I believe the guy. I am on team husband. If anything, the crying video alone should be sufficient. The publicly recording yourself crying should tell you that this woman is a narcissist. But yet people want to take her side immediately. Not even give some, I could respect, we don't know the full story. We don't know his story. We don't know her story. We know what they're telling us. But let me reserve my judgment. But no, outright, just immediately out the gate, taking her defense, even though he showed receipts, and not even giving a fair and balanced criticism. Could he have been abusing other? Possibly, it's possible. And if he did, that makes him a scumbag. Could he be a Scientologist? Maybe. I don't know. But he showed receipts of the things that she has done. She didn't. Maybe she's taking the high road. Maybe. I doubt it. I just don't think she has them. And now that this has become a big public spectacle, I think she's probably agreeing to calm things down. Both of them are, because obviously now he has to deal with these threats. And two, if she is guilty, this guy has showed that he's not playing around anymore. He's not going to take it. So, yeah, if anything, this has, unfortunately, gives some weight to the red pill, man, when they talk about the way that we elevate women and put women on a pedestal. I think this is a good example of that, because that's what they're doing here. And it just seems so obvious to me that the man didn't do anything wrong. All right, so that was messed up, and man, so that situation is bad, but the situation I'm about to show you is infinitely more heartbreaking. Oh man. All right. So this is from paternity court.
You are shaking.
I know.
I feel your nervousness from here. Are you okay?
Yes, Your Honor, I am I'm perfect.
Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna be there.
You said earlier that if Robin was not your biological child, it causes you to doubt whether or not you truly are the biological father of Jermaine Benning Jr. And because of that doubt, the court wants to make sure when you leave here you have the whole truth. Mr. Benning, what are your hopes?
I hope Jermaine's mine. I really do. It'd be good to know at least one of my kids is mine.
Jermaine Benning Jr. Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
What?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Benning.
Dude, that is rough. Now, granted, this does have the dramatic music playing in the background, but how awful, how awful of a person do you have to be to deceive this man into raising children that are not his own? And I believe this man will be there for those kids because he seems like a good man, regardless. But what a devastating blow. There are, without a doubt, some absolutely wicked women in the world. And the Bible warns us about them, warns us about the adulterous women and how their ways lead to death. And unfortunately, you're seeing a casualty of that. And men, not all women are like this. Definitely not. There are incredible women out there that will not betray you in such a horrific manner, that are godly, loving, graceful, loyal. So don't let this get you jaded, but let it serve as a cautionary tale to choose your spouses wisely. Don't just be with anybody. Be intentional about the person that you choose to have kids with, so that you know that you know that you know. And I think you will save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of grief if you do that. Be intentional. Marry somebody with values that are similar to yours. Marry somebody that is upfront with you and honest. Marry somebody that will wait until marriage to have sex. I guarantee if you set that standard in the beginning of your relationship, you're going to weed out a lot of promiscuous women. Same for you, ladies. If you set that standard that you're not going to have sex until you're married, you're going to weed out a lot of bad actors. And the only people that you should ultimately be sleeping with is your spouses. Now, it's not bulletproof, but it definitely mitigates your risk. And I guarantee you'll be less likely to go through something as horrific as this. So, yeah, that woman, absolutely demonic, evil, wicked beyond comprehension. Speaking of wicked, this last video that I'm going to show you is very disturbing and heartbreaking. Like I see this last video and it's tragic and it's heartbreaking. I see this other video and it's unsettling, but also tragic in its own right. All right. All right, here we go. All right, so who is in your profile picture? You see this beautiful woman, and you see this thing down here, all right?
Y'all, everybody keeps asking who that is in my pictures and stuff. Because, like, I'll post this picture sometimes. Y'all, this is me in 2021. So, 3 years ago. That was me. Y'all.
That is horrific. Unrecognizable. And she was so beautiful. She really was, you know, objectively a beautiful person. And she turned herself into this. Good Lord. Just creepy, demonic, satanic. I don't want to scroll any lower, but yeah, she used to be beautiful. And I think cosmetics like this should be illegal. We should not allow people to do this to themselves. I don't care. I don't care if it's their body. I don't care. At some point, we have to use sound judgment. And when somebody wants to split their tongue and black out parts of their eyes and make their eyes look like demon eyes and tattoo their face, we have to say no. We don't care how badly you want to do that. We are not going to do that. If you want to do that, you can do that by your own hands, but we are not going to allow people to do this to you. If you want to perform those body modifications, you have to do it yourself. And I think that would discourage a lot more people from doing something as horrific as this. Because this woman has literally made herself look like a demon. And I think to even think about doing this to yourself, you have to be demon possessed or something. Because this is crazy. I mean, this is next level. And she's going to look like this the rest of her life. You know, and I don't even know who would. I mean, there are weirdos that would marry somebody like this. So, you know, I'm not even going to say that her relationship prospects are out the window, but she's definitely not going to attract high quality men, you know, or good men. And I don't know how somebody comes back from something like this. I don't. You know, and I believe Jesus can save this woman. I believe Jesus can redeem this woman. I do. But man, it's going to take a miracle, really. Like divine intervention. And I pray that happens. I do, sincerely. I want to see somebody like this come to the faith. I want to see somebody like this turn their lives around. You know, and you know, use their lives as a cautionary tale to other people to never, ever make the same mistakes that they did and ruin their body. You know, when I see videos like this, and it is tragic to me. It's tragic that we have people utterly destroying themselves to line up with a false identity and to be fringe and to be weird. I don't even know her motivations to doing it, but it's just crazy. It's just crazy and sad. There was one more story that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover it. I'm not going to do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I got plenty of stories to cover tomorrow. All right, so I think that's going to do it for me. Sorry about the hiccup in the beginning, guys. But I appreciate you all. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think people should be modifying their bodies in that kind of way? Or do you think that we should have some reasonable restrictions on what you can do with your own body? Do you think, maybe bodily autonomy does have some limits? I do, for sure. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyway, I hope you have a blessed night. God bless. Deuces.